It's Red Eye Radio. Talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios. For Gary McNamara and Eric Harley, Dan Mandis, this is Red Eye Radio.
866-90-RED-EYE is the phone number, 866-907-3339. Text us if you can, 615-737-9986. My name is Dan Mandis. I host a morning show in Nashville, Tennessee, Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 6 to 10 Eastern Time, 5 to 9 Central. You can find it on all the streaming apps. We also broadcast on YouTube. If you like to watch radio shows in progress, you can see us on YouTube and Facebook and a bunch of other media outlets as well, including Rumble and at 997WTN.com. Do you want a third Donald Trump term? Because Steve Bannon is actually saying that there is a plan being formulated right now to allow Donald Trump to do just that.
He's going to get a third term. So Trump 28, Trump is going to be president in 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is, but there's a plan. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but
listen to this. This is hyperbole on a grand scale.
He's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will. And you can tell this of how he's pulled this off. We need him for at least one more term.
An instrument of divine will. I will admit, Donald Trump has done great things. I voted for Donald Trump 3 times. I'm having a hard time squaring, though, Trump really, and this is Steve Bannon. And so for all we know, this is, Bannon trying to troll the folks on the left, right? Troll Gavin Newsom, who says he's not going to leave. He'll never leave. And Donald Trump, giving Gavin Newsom and Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries Trump 2028 hats. Remember that whole thing? I've put up a poll. If you follow me on X, I've put up a poll now asking how you would feel about Donald Trump running for a third term. Because I think that for, the president, he's 79 now. He would be 82 once this, magical third term would begin, 83, 84. And that would take him to 88-ish. Unless he wanted to go another term, and that'd put him at 92. You never know. So go take the poll. I want to know what you think. Find me on X, at Dan Mandis Show. Tell me if you believe that Donald Trump should get to run for another term, a third term. Because as you know, the Constitution says that no, you can't run for a president a third time. You just can't. But Bannon says they're going to, twist the Constitution around to make it fit.
Right, and he'll get that in 28.
You're not driving me crazy. I'm trying to understand the coherence of the things you've just told me. On the one hand, you've said the Constitution is fit for purpose. Secondly, you've said that President Trump needs another term, even though the 22nd Amendment makes pretty clear that he cannot have another term.
Why does it make that clear?
Because he's on his second term already.
At some point in time, we will make sure we go through, Zanny, and define all those terms.
But you will.
All right, so it sounds like what they're going to do is they are going to try to, have an amendment for the Constitution? Maybe try to bring up some sort of a case law that would actually say, no, Donald Trump is allowed to run for a third term if you interpret the 22nd Amendment this way.
And define all those terms.
But you will be undermining the spirit of that amendment, even if you find some way around it.
If the American people, with the mechanisms we have, put Trump back in office, are the American people tearing up the Constitution? Would that be tearing up?
Well,
Would the American people be going against the spirit of the Constitution, ma'am?
I think yes, actually, because I think what you will end up with is a populist justification for a quasi-dictatorship.
That's not true at all. Trump
That's what it sounds like.
Well, I actually would disagree with that. This woman, by the way, is from The Economist. Because if there are legit elections, then it's not a dictatorship. If he ends up, ultimately losing a primary, or if he lost a general election, assuming they can get around the 22nd Amendment, then that's not a dictatorship. But Bannon says there's a plan in place.
Trump is a dictatorship. Did you just see the compromises he had to make on the big, beautiful bill? You see the compromises he has to do on everything, on accommodating Zelensky, on what President Trump. President Trump is nothing but a series of negotiations to kind of keep this thing rolling forward, where he's having trade-offs all the time.
But Steve, you've just spent the last 20 minutes telling me we have to smash the other side. There's no room for debate. There's no room for compromise. We must smash them. And now you're telling me this is a negotiation. I mean, that's
no.
I guess that's why it seems to me some kind of tension
there. First
off,
the only way President Trump wins in 2028 and continues to stay in office is by the will of the American people. Okay? And the will of the American people is what the Constitution embodies. And so I think we're going to be in good hands there. We need to finish what we started.
All right, so there you go. That is from The Economist, and that is right there at the top of the Daily Mail. Really interesting. I want to go to the phones now and say hello to. This is Walter calling from Philadelphia. Walter, thanks for calling Red Out Radio. How are you?
Good morning. I wanted to, I'll say off the bat, third term, no way. No.
Well, hey, Walter, can I ask you a question? I know what you're going to call. I know what you're calling about, but let me ask you this question though: are you a Trump supporter? Do you not like Trump? Tell me where you are, because I know that there are some people that are diehard Donald Trump supporters who are like, no way, man. Constitution is sacred. 22nd Amendment. I'm a big fan of Donald Trump, but it's time to move on. So where are you? Are you a Trump hater? Are you like an independent? What are you?
Lifelong Republican, and I voted for Nikki Haley.
Okay.
So
okay.
That's where I'm coming from.
Okay. So go ahead.
No, there won't be a GOP left if he's talking a third term. So.
Well, why, okay. Well, Walter, why do you say that? Like, I would disagree with you. I think that there would be a GOP left if there was a third term. I think that there's a lot of new people that have come into the Republican Party since Donald Trump took office the second time. So, I mean, we can argue about the constitutionality of this all day long, and but not knowing what their plan is. But I would disagree with that statement that there would be no GOP. I disagree with that vehemently, especially, Walter, when you look at how the Democrats are acting, because the Democrats are acting like a bunch of fools. So I think that there's going to be more independents that are going to come over to the GOP side. A couple of different things can be true. You know, Donald Trump can run for a third term, and there will be some Republicans or conservatives that would like that. Others may not like it, but they may go along for a ride. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
It's already, 10 months into his term, and I don't know anyone who wants another 4 years of this. But
I would, Walter, I disagree with you. I think that there are a lot of people that would want another term. And I get, but listen, I know what you're saying. Like when you say that, and you voted for Nikki Haley, I'm not judging, but you said that you don't know anybody that would vote for a third term of this, right? So can I ask you a question? What is of this? What does that mean? Because you said it. You said it in a way that you're not digging what's going on here in America. And obviously there's things that we all will disagree with Donald Trump on, with something. But, I mean, tell me what you mean by, 4 years of this.
A man who's basically made enemies of most of our allies.
Really?
I mean,
Are you sure? Hey, Walter, can I hold on? Hey, tell me how he has made enemies of our allies when all of those supposed enemies have formed this big coalition that is supporting Israel as they're trying to find this peace agreement with Hamas. It seems to me like they are with Donald Trump on that issue, and the president has gained a lot of respect over the years, and certainly in the last 10 months. I don't believe that he has made enemies of our allies.
Canadians would disagree. Folks in Greenland would disagree.
Canada, they are in the middle of a negotiation and whatever. Greenland, there were a lot of people that would have loved for us to take over Greenland, as a matter of fact. There's a lot of people that don't like the current situation. But if you're talking about Europe, what's that?
They don't want us.
Who? Greenland?
Nobody. Yeah.
Okay. Here's what I know. What I know is Donald Trump Jr., and I think it was J.D. Vance, went to Greenland, and they spoke to a lot of people in Greenland who were like, yeah, you know what? We would love to be part of the United States. But I mean, but that's not why you called, Walter. We could go round and round on this, but I would very much disagree with you. I do believe that there are people within the Republican Party that would love to see a Donald Trump third term. Now, obviously, the legalities of all of that has to be worked out. And just so you know, Walter, I'm very cynical on Donald Trump in a third term. I think that opens up a huge can of worms, because if Trump can do it, then they could, roll out Obama again, or any other, Democrat in the future that might be able to, get into office, and they can make the same argument that they could get a third term. I think it's a bad idea.
Well, it's been a year of bad ideas as far as I can see.
All right. Well, very good.
But we were earlier. You were talking about the meat situation.
Yeah.
Have you considered that the fact this has been caused by the entire ICE raid thing? Who is working in these meat plants?
Yeah, you're right, Walter. There have been a lot of these ICE these facilities that had a lot of illegal aliens working in the ICE facilities, or I should say the meat packaging plants. And ICE came in. They had a whole bunch of folks that they found that were illegal. And so now they're dealing with going through the process of, either getting them to be legal or sending them out of the country. But yeah, that is a very valid point. And that's why we need a stricter use of E-Verify. We need to make sure that people that work in these meat packaging plants are actually citizens of the United States, or legally, they would be legally here in America to work in these places. But there's also people that will tell you that that's not actually the reason why they are manipulating the prices of beef. And what people will tell you is that they're manipulating the prices of beef so that they themselves can make more money. And that harkens back to something we spoke about earlier in the program. Let's say hello to Darren. And Darren, thanks for... Actually, you know what, Darren? I'm sorry. I'm going to put you back on hold because I got to go to a break. I'm sorry about that. Me and that other guy we're talking about Trump in a third term. But hold on, Darren. I'm going to get to you and Lee and the other folks calling. Coming up next right here on Red Eye Radio.
Brought to you by FPPF, Fuel Power Max.
Leased owner-operators should be aware of 4 common revenue myths. Myth 1, concentrate on increasing revenue because costs will take care of themselves. Myth 2, more revenue per mile is the answer to all problems. Revenue per mile really doesn't change much from company to company. Myth 3, all you have to do to be successful is run a lot of miles. In reality, revenue is only half of the profit equation. Myth 4. You can tell how well you're doing by the size of your settlement check. The settlement check is only a part of the success picture. Miles driven, loads hauled, conditions, mechanical problems, time off, and especially costs all have to be considered. Owner-Operator Business 101 is provided by Overdrive's Partners in Business program. Go to overdriveonline.com to the Partners in Business section of the website for more details on this and many other topics. Brought to you by Shell Rotella. With advanced synthetic technology is designed to help keep your rig running with more mileage and less maintenance.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
Red Eye Radio, 866-90-RED-EYE is the phone number, 866-907-3339. Text in if you can. Call in, 615-737-9986. So we're talking about Steve Bannon, who is saying there is a plan being put in place for Trump to run for a third term. I put up a poll. Follow me on X at Dan Mandis Show. And we've got 62.5% saying no, we don't support that. It is unconstitutional. 37.5% say that they would love that. And I want to say hello to Darren. And Darren, thanks for holding on. Go ahead.
Oh, it's such a pleasure for me to be on your show. This is actually the first time I actually talked to you, Dan. Man, Darren from Pittsburgh. I'm a big fan of the show. I've talked to Giordano when he's filled in for Gary McNamara and Eric Harley, who I listen to nightly. I'm just going to say briefly, like, I'm from Pittsburgh, and they used to broadcast on a station here. I'm allowed to say this, and we can't get you anymore here. So yada yada yada. It's like the Seinfeld thing. It's the modern technology. I'm an IT person, and I listen on the app and everything.
Well, listen,
and I work for the Air Force. I just wanted to tell you about the government today.
Okay.
Can I get to the meat of what I really called you about? We'll sidestep the thing of Donald Trump running another, but this was the greatest day, I think. The whole barrage of what Donald Trump put on for the country with the meeting that he had at the White House, a very knowledgeable meeting. The press did not know what to do. They were all freaking out. And I just had to call you and say, I happened to be home today because I was off of work and everything, and I just watched everything. I watched every vote. I watched the press conference and took really good notes on it. And I just think that Donald Trump built a replacement for what happened with the last administration. And you say that he may want to run again. Remember, he didn't run. He ran consecutively. But we all know, the fan of the show and the way that I feel, was the last president a real presidency, especially with the auto pen kind of thing. But the thing is, I'm getting off track. I'm telling you, the way that Caroline Levitt.
Hold on. So hold on, Darren. You said that you really liked Donald Trump's press conference today. Was it the one on the drug cartels in Venezuela and all that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I just thought it just blew my mind that he held something like that today, because I knew that he was, but because I was home, I was off today, and I just wanted to pay attention to what was going on with the government, because I'm worried about the government. I'm worried about the American people. You're talking to a person that works for the Air Force, and I can only say this. You don't have to thank me for my service. I have a service contract with the Air Force. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to have to work for free, like the air traffic controllers. I have a contract with the Air Force where I pick them up in Pittsburgh and I drive them to the recruiting headquarters. And, I balance working for them. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have an IT degree, and I also do medical delivery, but I'm going to work for free. And
yeah. Darren, I got to run. Appreciate you calling. A lot of people are in your shoes, and it's interesting. Darren, keep listening. I've got an audio bite that I'm going to play just for you, Darren. Just for you. It's coming up next on Red Eye Radio.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
It's Red Eye Radio, 866-90 Red Eye is the phone number, 866-907-3339. I am desperately looking for the soundbite that I was going to play for the nice gentleman that I spoke with just before the last break, and doggone it, I can't find it. But and I played it last night, and it's the audio bite of the Democrat who came out, and I was so stunned by this, came out and said that they are keeping the government closed. The Democrats are keeping the government closed because they have leverage. That's right. That's what they're saying. They're saying that the reason why they're keeping the government closed is because it's the only way that the Democrats can have leverage. Here it is. This is Catherine Clark. She is a Democrat, and she is, because I was talking to the guy, I forget his name, Eddie, I think. I'm not sure. But he said that he is going to have to start working for free. But Democrats don't really seem to care. Again, this is the Democrat whip in the House of Representatives, and again, her name is, I believe it's Catherine Clark.
I mean, shutdowns are terrible, and of course there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously, but it is one of the few leverage times we have.
So the fact that some of y'all may not be getting paid, you're going to have to work for free, maybe the contractors and what have you. All of those, this is the crazy thing. You've got all of those federal employees that live in Washington, D.C. You people listening at WMAL. All of these federal employees that work in Washington, D.C. that are now out of work, and you'll eventually get paid, but Donald Trump is trying to pare a lot of those jobs down. But this is why it baffles me why people will vote for Democrats. Because this Democrat right here just said that they are willing to risk your job and your paycheck, Democrats, and yet you still vote for them. They're using you as leverage. They're willing to risk your home, your job, your family, so that they can fight a political battle with Donald Trump in a situation where clearly they're wrong. So if I was impacted by the shutdown, it gives me something to talk about, but I'm not impacted by it. But if I was impacted by it, and I heard that they're using my life and my income as leverage, I would be infuriated. And that's why I don't understand why it is that the Democrats vote for Democrats. Does not make any sense to me whatsoever. By the way, I have follow me on X at Dan Mandis Show, and I put up a poll. The question of the poll is Donald Trump, according to Steve Bannon, Donald Trump is talking about a third term. His office is putting together a scenario where he could somehow constitutionally run for a third term. And so go take the poll on X, find me at Dan Mandis Show. And this is Lee calling on Red Eye Radio from Washington State. Hey, Lee, how are you?
Hello. I would sort of put what you've said into a couple small things. Life is full of conflict. Now we have the dance hall with two arguments. Money, okay, what about the new FBI building? Wasn't that going to be about $800 million?
It was.
And permission. And the permission, did rioters ask if they could tear the statues of important people in our history? No. So right now, the best I can figure is President Trump must keep the disingenuous adversaries, they're just game players, off balance, just as they try and keep him off balance.
Mm-hmm.
And we come down to, sort of in the end here to we had tricks. When Hunter Biden's laptop was hidden deliberately, made a difference. And then the dossier, the Steele thing, lies deliberately. And there's no consequence. Nothing happens. So we come down to me, the Rolling Stones. You can't always get what you want, but if you try, sometimes you can get what you need. It's difficult. And I wish the president the best of luck. It's pushing it when you get older, but there's younger people who couldn't do something too.
Well, here's the other thing that I would say, and I appreciate the call. And anytime you want to quote the Rolling Stones, I'm all about it. We've got J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio. So we've got a team ready to go. And so it's not like we are lacking in people to take the mantle, take the MAGA mantle. But I appreciate the call. By the way, people who are taking the poll on my X page at Dan Mandis Show, vast majority of them say, no. And I'd be willing to bet that a lot of people would say that, like me, love Trump, absolutely love Trump, but not a big fan of a third term because that is unconstitutional. Tyler is in Cincinnati on Red Eye Radio. Hey, Tyler, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Go ahead, sir.
I was just heading home from work, and I heard your poll question about the third term, and I just don't see it going over very well because a lot of conservatives, myself included, were big on the amendments first, second, and I think if he went against this 22nd, I think a lot of people would not really support that idea. And you were saying he'd be, 82 years old at the end of this term?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's crazy.
Up there in age for another 4 years after that. I mean, there's not too many people out there at that age willing to do or able to do everyday activities, let alone run a country and everything like that. And I think if he did run for a third term, I think enough people would support it and support him like I have. I voted for him 3 times. But I think it would pull away votes from younger Republicans trying to run. Therefore, they wouldn't put their name into the ring.
Well, it would be, Tyler, it would be interesting because if he wanted to run for a third term, then you're going to have J.D. Vance or maybe Marco Rubio, who, Trump has been grooming J.D. Vance to be the next president. And I mean, would then J.D. Vance say, you know what, I'm going to run against you in a primary? You know what I mean? So it puts everybody in a really awkward position. And if they can figure out a way to do this constitutionally, I don't see how they would be able to do it. That's number one. But number two, it is setting up the Democrats to do the same thing, which is something we absolutely do not want. And Tyler, I do appreciate the call. Let's say hello to Liz calling from Hot Springs, Arkansas on Red Eye. Hey, Liz, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? I'm up in the morning listening to y'all. The Lord wakes me up around 2, 3, all times of the night to pray. We are still one nation under God, and this is my first time to get through, and I agree. I am the same age as Trump. I have been an educator for 36 years. That was my main job, although I've had plenty. Mm-hmm. I followed politics. I agree that we need Trump has mentored J.D. and Eric. I'm reading Under Siege, My Family's Fight to Save Our Nation by Eric Trump right now. He has managed the company. They were on The Apprentice together. These two know all the oligarchs and all the countries, all the dirt on everything that we all know that have kept up with politics. We are under siege right now, and we need a future young people who are savvy about all these things. God puts these people in office, and God can take them down. But if we vote, he will honor those who do his will. And they're trying to correct all this mess.
Well, and Liz, you're right, and I appreciate that. And I think that you're absolutely right when we talk about, younger conservatives that are there ready to take the mantle. But just so you know, I don't have a problem with somebody who is Donald Trump's age in the White House. I mean, Donald Trump, he's clearly, in my opinion, has all of his faculties. I don't have a problem with somebody who is a certain age. I worry about their mental acuity. That's my big thing. And no, I would not have an issue with presidents being forced to take some sort of a mental acuity test, and then you publish the results. Even though, yeah, I know that absolutely can be politicized, but I just think that I'm not a big fan of number one, this talk about a third term. I don't like age limits though, because I think that older people, some retain their mental acuity for many years, and in others, like Joe Biden, clearly do not. 866-90 Red Eye. Charles is in Birmingham, Alabama. Hey, Charles.
Hey, good morning. I just had a question about with Donald Trump, and which I'm a 100% Trump supporter, voted for him every time.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't really looking for a third term because not necessarily the age part, but my question today is, has Donald Trump done anything for you and any American person, job-wise, financial-wise, or whatever, to benefit us? It's been 10 months, and which I'm in a small trucking operation. I own my own little company.
Right.
But we see trucking companies dropping like flies, like Montgomery Transport here in Birmingham shut 600 trucks down in the last couple of weeks. And Carol Fulmer has went out of business. Trucking rates are low. But hey, that's life. It's a struggle. That's what it's always been. So that's nothing, that's nothing new. But,
yeah, I mean, hold on, Charles. So I will say, and because I want to get a lot of people on, phone lines are packed, but yes, Donald Trump has created jobs through the tariff programs. You have a lot of these companies that have come either back to the United States or they've come to the United States to avoid President Trump's tariffs. Now, it may not have hit you personally, but there are people that I know that have had jobs created for them by the policies of Donald Trump. And so, I mean, there was the, it was a story either earlier this week or last week, but AI. And you've got the president, and he's doing incredible things for AI and the manufacturing of those chips that are used for artificial intelligence are now being made here in America. Those are jobs. Those are jobs that are being created. So, and as I said, it doesn't sound like it's hit where you live or where you live in your industry. But yes, I do firmly believe that Donald Trump has created jobs, and we'll have to see what happens with the tariffs, though. I mean, with the tariffs, I mean, this is something that has never been done. I think that the tariffs have not been, baked into our economy for long enough to know how they're going to impact us long term. We have never tried this before. So I think the jury is still out on the tariffs. I know that Gary and Eric, they're not necessarily fans of the president's tariff plan. My own 2 cents on that is I'm far from an economist, but I just think that the jury is still out. David in Virginia, real quick, is on Red Eye Radio. David, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I believe that J.D. Vance, the vice president, he's no nonsense. I think that he would keep the majority of the cabinet that's in there now. I mean, I'm not saying anything against Donald Trump and, 82 years old and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just think that in 28, give J.D. Vance his shot.
Well, and I appreciate, David, the call. And I wholeheartedly agree with you. Now, let me know what you think. Go take the poll. Follow me on X at Dan Mandis Show. And let me know what you think about a third Donald Trump term. The phone number is 866-90 Red Eye, 866-907-3339. We'll return next on Red Eye Radio.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90 Red Eye.
866-90 Red Eye. Okay, so I'm Dan. Follow me on X at Dan Mandis Show. Take the poll. Steve Bannon is saying that there is a plan being put in place for Donald Trump to run for a third term. What do you think? Results of the poll. I kind of expected this. 69.2% of you say no, it's unconstitutional. This is not something that the president would do. 30.8% of you would love that. So this poll is going to be up for a while. So if you want to take it, it's a poll that on X, it stays up for 24 hours. So I would love for you to take the poll. I'd love for you to follow me on the socials at Dan Mandis Show. Gary and Eric, they are back on Sunday night, Monday morning. I'll talk to you next time on Red Eye Radio.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.